All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the tactical heart of one of football's most legendary clubs, FC Barcelona. When Xavi came back, he wasn't just coming home. He was on a mission to bring a kind of sacred document back to life, the club's very own philosophical blueprint. So let's break down exactly what that means.
I mean, what does happen when a club loses its soul? It's a question that was haunting the fans at the camp now. For a club like Barca, a club that's defined by a very specific style of play, losing that identity, it's so much more than just a dip in form. It's a full-blown existential crisis. And that was the scene just before Xavi returned.
So to really get what Xavi was trying to do, we first have to understand the sheer scale of the problem he inherited. Seriously, the club was tactically lost at sea, and the very idea of what it meant to be Barcelona was on the line.
Before Xavi came back, Barcelona just looked like a shadow of its former self. That famous DNA, the possession-based, intricate passing style we all know and love, it was pretty much gone. And on the pitch, that translated into chaos, disjointed play, confusion, and a string of results that were, frankly, just painful to watch. The soul was missing.
And so, what did the club do? They turned to one of the guys who was the living embodiment of that DNA on the pitch. Xavi's arrival wasn't just a coaching change, it was a huge statement. The mission was crystal clear. Find that old blueprint, dust it off, and rebuild the entire club in its image.
So, what is this legendary blueprint anyway? To understand the philosophy Xavi is trying to bring back, we have to go back to the source, to the man who started it all, the legendary Johan Cruyff.
Okay, at the heart of it all is this concept called juego de posición, or positional play. Now, this isn't just about passing the ball around for no reason. Not at all. The key is where you have the ball and how your players are positioned. The entire goal is to manipulate the other team's shape, to move them around like chess pieces, to always create a free player somewhere on the pitch. It's all about generating advantages through smart, precise passing.
And this quote from Cruyff just sums it up perfectly. For him, possession wasn't just about attacking, it was the ultimate form of defense. It's a simple idea, but it's profound, right? If the other team can't get the ball, they just can't score. And that idea underpins everything. We can actually break this whole complex idea into three main pillars. First, create superiority. That means outnumbering or outpositioning the opponent in small areas of the field. Second, and this one is so crucial, you have to find the third man. Instead of just passing between two players, use a third to escape pressure. Think of it like this. Player A passes to player B to draw in a defender, but the real target is player C, who is now wide open. And finally, constant movement. Players can never stand still. They have to be constantly rotating to open up new passing lanes and just completely disorient the defense.
Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds great on a whiteboard, doesn't it? But how does Xavi actually translate this blueprint into a real system on the field during a game?
This is where it gets really interesting. On paper, the team lines up in a standard 4-3-3. But the moment Barcelona gets the ball, it morphs, it shifts into this super fluid 3-2-2-3 shape. How does that happen? Well, one of the fullbacks will tuck into the midfield to create that 2 next to the main midfielder, while the other defenders shift to form a back 3. It's this dynamic, deliberate change designed to perfectly execute those Cruyffian ideas of control. So, why go through all this trouble? Well, this fluid shape is all about total domination. It creates overloads in key areas of the pitch, making it almost impossible for the other team to mark everyone. It confuses defenders, and this is a big one. It positions players perfectly to press like crazy and win the ball back the instant it's lost. A system, no matter how brilliant, is completely useless without the right players to execute it. And while every single role is specialized in Xavi's system, some positions are just, more fundamental to the whole structure than others. In this system, there is no role more critical than the single pivot, the deepest lying midfielder. Honestly, you should think of this player as the team's central computer. Everything, and I mean everything, flows through them. They are the connection between the defense and the attack. The demands on this single player are just immense. They have to control the entire rhythm of the game, be strong enough to resist pressure from attackers, shield the defense, and have the vision to launch attacks from deep. Without a truly world-class player in that pivot role, the entire blueprint can start to crack. So, the blueprint has been restored. But we all know theory is one thing, and reality, that's another. How does this strategy actually hold up in the real world? Let's take a look at the results. And really, the results have been a tale of two fronts. On one hand, you have massive success.
Domestically, the system delivered a La Liga title, and it was built on an incredibly solid defense. The identity is back, you can see it. But on the other hand, on the European stage, the team has really struggled. The attack has looked inconsistent at times, and the whole system has shown just how much it relies on a few specific key players to make it all work.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most critical question. Xavi has successfully restored Barcelona's soul. He's brought its identity back. But in today's game, an era of hyper-athletic pressing and lightning-fast transitions, is a philosophy from the past, no matter how beautiful, actually enough to dominate the future of football? That remains the ultimate test for this Blaugrana blueprint.